Okay, so for this second part of the text tool exercise, I'm going to show you how to do this page, which includes this Monroe Eye and Matisse thing, and it actually has a set of directions which will show you how to do three different things. We're going to do a fill type with an image, option 1. We're going to do the fill type with an image, option 2. And we're going to do the define pattern and fill pattern. Those are the three things we're going to do. All right. So the first one we're going to do is as this sheet says, we'll go ahead and do. We'll go ahead and do the fill type with an image, option 1. All right. So for this one, it says to open up a landscape photo. Now you can go ahead and get a landscape photo from wherever you want. You can maybe do a search on the internet and get something cool. The main thing is to avoid something with too much of one solid color in one area, or with the same color as a background of the page you'll eventually be placing the word on. In other words, get something with a lot of different color and a lot of variety throughout. All right. So okay, so since we've already done the, we set up a page, created a new document for this project. For the last page that we did, you can go ahead and save that and output it as a JPEG, all right, to submit to me later. But what I've basically done is I've now created a new document. This is another 8.5 by 11. This is another 200 DPI document, okay, so that we can do the second page of this assignment, all right? And for this one, what I'm going to do is I am going to, like I said, I've already done a picture that I want, and I'm going to do this picture here of money, okay? So this is a picture that I found on the internet, and I've already opened up this picture in Photoshop. So in Photoshop, I did File, Open, and I opened up this picture wherever I saved it, and it just opened up. Now, as far as the kind of images Photoshop will take, typically things like .jpeg and .png are good files to have, okay? There are some file types on the internet which Photoshop won't take. Like if there's something that's like a web pic of some kind, if it's saved as a web pic, if it's strictly an internet image, then Photoshop won't open it. But anyway, here's a picture of money. All right. So what I'm going to do is the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the image. I'm going to select all. So the way I'm going to do it, you can go File or Edit. Where is it? Let's see, I'm making myself the liar here. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. Okay, select all, but you can also do the keyboard shortcut, which I like to do, which is Control/Command A for select all, and you get the little marching ants around the whole document. And then from here, you can just do a edit, copy, okay? Or you can do a Control/Command C, and you can copy the image. All right. Now from here, I'm going to come back to my page over here. All right. And I am going to type out a word that I'm basically going to stick this image into. All right. So the word I'm going to type out, and first of all, I'm going to pick a nice, juicy, bold font. And I happen to have on my computer something called Amity Jack, all right, which is a nice, bold font, all right. And since I copied money, I'm going to stick money in the word money. Now, I know according to my directions, what I told you to do was to do your name, okay? If you don't want to do your name, if you want to do something a little more creative, that's perfectly okay. All right, so I'm going to click the checkbox, and I've got the word money there. Now I'm going to go ahead and pop open my character panel, and I'm going to increase the size of the word just using the font there. I'm going to kind of see if I can make it fit the whole page like that. All right, and also I'm going to go ahead and stretch out the kerning a little bit, just make it a little bit taller, okay? All right, and which it's not doing. Let's see here. Let me try a little bit this way. There it goes. Okay. All right, now I'm going to grab the text layer there, money, like that. All right, and now the next step that directions say to do is to rasterize this layer. So you can go Layer, Rasterize, Type. Now before I click that, what exactly is rasterizing? Well, this goes all the way back to the first week of the semester when we talked about rasterizing images. Rasterizing, another word for rasterizing is you're turning a text file or a vector file, which text is vector graphics, okay, into a picture file or a rasterized file or a pixel-based file or a Photoshop file. The purpose of rasterizing a layer, in other words, turning it from a vector to a raster graphic or to a bitmap graphic or to a Photoshop graphic, is so that you can apply imaging techniques to it. Now, if you look over here, before I do this, if you look all the way over here in the layers panel, right now the word money is a text layer, and the reason we know it is because the thumbnail shows the big T with the little corners on it. All right, that means it is a type layer. However, the moment I go layer, rasterize, and type, that money layer now turns into an image. So this is no longer text per se, it is now an image, which means I cannot change the text. I can't change the characters of the text now because I've turned it into an image, but now that I've turned it into an image, I can do image-oriented things to it. All right, so now that I've done that, okay, and if you remember, all right, I copied that picture of money. What we're going to do is we're going to paste that picture into the money. But the first thing I need to do is I need to select the characters. So I'm going to come over here in the toolbar and I'm going to grab my magic wand, all right, which is the fourth tool from the top, all right. It's with the quick selection tool. I'm going to grab my magic wand and I'm going to select the letter M, all right, and the M, as you can tell now, has the marching ants around it. Now the exercise says hold down the shift key and select all the other letters. Well, that's one way to do it. The easy way to do it is to go select on the drop-down menu and similar. So now that it knows it's looking for a black character, because the first M is a black character, by selecting similar, now it's going to select all the other black characters in the canvas, which means O-N-E-Y. All right? To me, it makes it a lot easier to do it this way. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do, now that I've copied that picture, once again, I am now going to paste the picture into that selection I just made. So I am going to go Edit. I am going to come down to Paste Special, not Paste, Paste Special, and I'm going to paste into. All right? And there I've got my money layer, all right, is now pasted in there. But as you can see, that money layer is not big enough, okay? Because the image that I brought in was too small for the word, but that's no problem, all right? I am just going to go ahead and transform it. I'm going to do an Edit T, all right? And I am just going to click and drag and make that image behind the word money bigger so that it fits, and then I'm going to hit my checkbox, and bam, there you go. I've got literally money inside the word money, and I've done that. All right, now the next one we're going to do, all right, we are going to do the fill type with an image option 2. And for this one, I'm going to get a second image, all right? So I've already uploaded this image of fireworks into my Photoshop, all right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to make this 200% so that we can see it a little bit better. All right, and yes, I realize that because I made it 200% so that we could see a little bit better, it's got a little bit of loss of resolution on it. It doesn't matter, all right? Whatever image you want to get, this isn't supposed to be a final project. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a demonstration on how to do a few things. Okay, so from here, what I'm going to do is this time I am going to do the same thing I did before, but I'm going to do it in a slightly different way. This time I'm going to do what's known as a clipping mask. I am going to create the word and I'm going to clip the word into this picture to create the same effect. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to take my type tool, and since as I'm doing this project, it's the summer and 4th of July is right around the corner, I'm going to do fireworks. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to type in fireworks, all right? And I'm going to hit check, okay? I'm going to grab the word fireworks, all right? And as you can see, right now the word fireworks is way too big for my panel here. So, and I've got here the fireworks layer selected, which is still a text layer. I'm going to go ahead and drag my font down on the word fireworks using my character panel so that I can get the word fireworks to fit inside of my image that I have. I want it to just fit. All right. So that's pretty good. All right. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to move it around a little bit. All right. And I'm also going to stretch it out. So again, I'm going to take that kerning, and I'm going to make the kerning, I'm just going to stretch it out so that the word's a little bit taller. All right. It's being a pain. Why is it not letting me do that? Let me just type it in numbers here. All right. For some reason, it doesn't want to let me do that. Why doesn't it want? Oh, I'm sorry. I was doing the wrong thing. Your instructor's not very sharp today. Okay, vertical scaling. Sorry. That's what I wanted to do. All right, so I'm just going to vertically scale this up. All right. Okay, so there I've got the word fireworks. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing I did in the other project, which was rasterize this layer. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go, this time I'm going to do it from the type layer. I'm going to go type, and I'm going to say rasterize type layer. It's the same thing I did before. Instead of layer rasterize type, I'm going to go type rasterize type layer. It's the same thing. I've rasterized the layer. There's just two different ways to do it. All right. And I'm going to make sure that my bottom layer, okay, my bottom layer, I want to make sure that if it's a background layer, which right now it's not because I've practiced this exercise before, but when you open up an image in Photoshop, all right, it's automatically going to default as a type layer or as a background layer. So what you want to make sure you do if it's a background layer is just double click on it. The default name it wants to give it is layer 0. You can change the name, but for this exercise it doesn't matter. I'm just going to hit layer 0, and that's fine. And then I'm going to grab layer 0 and I'm just going to drag it above the fireworks layer so that the image is completely covering that rasterized text layer. So now my image is above fireworks, okay? And now I'm going to click here in the gray area so no layer is selected. No layer is selected. And now I'm going to, what I'm going to do is I am going to, let's see, I am going to hold down my Option or Alt key, Alt Option key. On PC it would be the Alt key, on the Mac it's the Option key. And I am going to hover my cursor between the two layers. And as you can see, there's like a little black 90-degree arrow pointing down and a little white box next to it. This is what's known as the clipping mask tool, all right? And what that's going to do by clicking that tool between the two layers, all right, and I just clicked my mouse button, I held down my Alt Option key and I clicked my mouse button, that image in layer 0 has now been clipped into the image below it, which was that fireworks layer. So now I've got the word fireworks like that, okay? And that's the great thing about clipping masks is that you can do stuff like that. The other way you could do the clipping mask, just to let you know, is you can use this little, on the layer panel, you can use this little drop-down menu in the top right-hand corner, and there is a clipping mask option in here. Right there, it's in gray right now because we've already done the clipping mask, so there's no clipping mask to do. But if it was okay, we could, if it hadn't been done yet, this would be blacked out so you could see create clipping mask and you could do it that way too. All right. So now I'm going to go back to my money page here, okay? And we're going to now do the last exercise on this page, which is define pattern and fill pattern, all right? Now, here it says open up an image in Photoshop, and it wants you to select a 1 inch by 1 inch part of the image with the rectangular marquee tool. All right, so I'm going to go back to, where was it? My money image. There it is, my money. Okay. All right, let me deselect it here. All right, and I am going to grab my move tool. I'm going to grab my rectangle marquee tool, which is the rectangle tool right below the move tool, and I am going to select a 1 by 1 inch image, square of this image. Now, if you look on my W and my H, which tell me my measurements, and you see the unit of measurements is inches, if for any reason you see the unit of measurements as px, which means pixels, all right, you will need to convert that so that you can see inches instead of pixels. So the way to do that, and let me undo that for a second, is you want to come down here in your Photoshop. So you want to click on Photoshop CC under Preferences, and you want to come down to where it says, let me see, I think it's Guides, Grids, and Slices. I think that's where it is. No, it's not. That's not where it is. All right, you want to go to the one that says Units and Rulers, okay? Where it says Units and Rulers, your rulers are probably set to pixels, so you want to make sure and set your rulers to inches. And then when you do that, you will see inches here. Now, since you want a perfect square, a perfect 1 inch by 1 inch square, in order to do that, you have to hold down the Shift key, all right, when you're creating the square. By holding down the Shift key, it's going to proportionally size both the width and the height simultaneously so that the numbers are exactly the same, and you want to grab a 1 inch area of your surface, okay? So I'm just going to eyeball this. There you go. If you can see, my width and my height are 1 inch. I am holding down my Shift key and I'm holding down my mouse button. The first thing I'm going to let go is of my mouse button, and the second thing I'm going to let go is the Shift key, and now I've got a square selected. Okay? From this point, what you want to do is you want to go Edit and then Define Pattern, which is down here towards the bottom. Edit, Define Pattern. And then here, there's your pattern that you're creating. The name of the pattern is Pattern 1. I'm going to call this Pattern Money. Okay? I'm going to hit OK. All right? I hit Cancel on mine only because I've already done this. Okay? All right, and now I can come over to my window that I was working on with the type tool. Where was that window? Where I had money. Where did I put? Where was that? I'm clicking on a bunch of stuff. All right. Is this it? Yes, that's it. Yeah, but where didn't I do one with, there it is. That's the one I wanted. Okay. All right. So that was the one that I did originally. Okay. And I'm going to come in here and I am going to type the word money again. All right. So M-O-N-E-Y. All right. And I am going to change the size of it a little bit. I am going to, let me stretch it out. Let's see. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Let me bring down the... That's what I want to do. Okay. Let me just do this at 100%. That's the easier way to do it. All right. Now I'm going to resize it. Okay. All right. Bring it down here so that I can see it better. All right. Like we did before, I'm going to rasterize that. So I'm going to do rasterize type layer. All right. Now that I've got that done, now I'm going to do, with the magic wand, once again, I'm going to select the first letter, and then I'm going to do select similar. So it'll select all the letters. And then once I've done that, now I'm going to stick the pattern in. So I'm going to go Edit, Fill, And for the contents, I'm going to select pattern. And for the pattern, I'm going to go to custom pattern. And there's that money pattern that I created. As you can see, 300 by 300 pixels, RGB mode. I'm going to hit OK. And now I have filled that layer with money. So I'm going to do a Command D and deselect it. And as you can see, compared to the top money and the second money, because I created that square pattern, what it's doing is it's taking that square and it's repeating it all over the text, okay? So I'm not saying it looks awesome, all right? I just did it to show you how to do it, but that would be, you know, an example of patterning. You know, think of things like wallpaper or tile on the floor, all right? That's the kind of thing that we're doing here. Okay, so those were the three inserting images into Word examples that I wanted to show you from this text tool exercise. So that's it for this short video. In video number 3, I'll go to the next part. All right? You guys take it easy.